Okay, so I just got back from Mass a little while ago, and I wanted to do a little video on that. So the thumbnail that's for this video is actually a Catholic Mass that was held in the field during the Second World War on the 9th of April of 1944. And I picked that picture because it's kind of where we're at now. There's not that many of us still at the moment, but it's growing. Two of the guys that read my book actually turned up to Mass today. They're not Catholics, they're not baptized, but they came to watch and they came to see a Latin Mass and they came to speak with our priest. So James and Richard, well done for doing something. Instead of just reading or looking online, they actually took the time to come and check it all out. So I hope I'll see them again, and I hope they will eventually get baptized with us. The meeting that we're going to have on the 21st of December, Mass will be on the 22nd of December. Our priest, Don Steenberger, will be there. We've organized for him to have tickets to come through to London, and then we will get him a hotel or something. And we're just in the process now of looking for a venue depending on numbers. So if you are in London, or you're going to be in London and you want to attend that, you don't have to be Catholic. It's going to be sort of a questions and answers type session. Depending on how many of us, you might get your specific questions answered. If you've got questions that you specifically want to ask, email me or whatever, and we'll try and put them in, because we're going to try and create a little sort of questions and answer thing for the priest before he comes. And then, of course, he will add his own things that he wants to talk about and whatever. But the intention is to answer some of the questions that people have, particularly when it comes to the details of the Novus Ordo versus real Catholicism, which is something which those guys also asked about. But, it's very simple. Basically, any priest that doesn't reject outright everything connected to Vatican II is not Catholic. It's as simple as that, because Vatican II is absolutely heretical, and we have canon law that quite clearly explains that if you're a heretic and if you promote heresy, you cannot be a valid cleric of the church. It's very simple, very clear cut. And everything that came after, and the fact that while the Catholics were asleep, the enemy infiltrated. Well, we're told that in the Bible too, right? We're told that we're going to be visited when we least expect it. And the minute you let your guard down, that's when you're going to be infiltrated and taken out. That's kind of what they did. But, the church continues to exist, an unbroken line. We're there, and we're growing. It's Catholics rising. There's more of them and more of them every day. I also just want to mention that I checked with our priest, and the St. Gertrude Church that Dane Cook, Nameless Bear, the guy that's getting me to the United States in a couple of weeks or so, that is, we're in contact. Our guys, our priests and bishops are in contact with them, so they are a legitimate, real Catholic church. So, you're quite safe in their hands. So the Latin Mass that they give and so on is all valid. But again, if you're not sure, I've had a couple of questions like, oh, I'm going to go to a Latin Mass, but I don't know. How do I know if it's a real one? Is it just because if it's Latin, it's good enough? Or it's very simple. Speak to the priest. Ask him, what's your view of Vatican II? Do you think Bergoglio is the Pope? It's very simple. And if they don't reject Vatican II, then they're not real Catholics. So I just wanted to let you guys know, because it's good to let other people know that the ripple effect is happening. And actually, some of the guys at church asked me for copies of the book, or they're going to get books, because one of the guys, he's also a writer, and he goes to gym really early in the morning. Like, it's a 24-hour gym. I don't know where he's got that, but he's there like at 3 in the morning, and he does his work, and then he goes to gym. And this person came, I think it's janitor, some lady that's apparently, she's not what you would call the ideal person that you'd think is a God-fearing, or looking for God, but takes all sorts. There's a woman that's covered in tattoos, piercings, and is a self-confessed lesbian. And yet she's searching for God. And, he spent time talking with her, and she was like, oh yeah, I want to. And in talking with each other, he said, look, I think your book is kind of what she needs, because, and I explained to him, I said, look, my book is not written for pious eyes. If you're already a Catholic or whatever, you don't need to read my book. My book is written for the lost sheep, for the guys that are out there. It's written for the wild asses. I say that in the book too. Because in the Bible, a wild ass is not some random booty. A wild ass in the Bible is a wild donkey. And donkeys are stubborn creatures. A wild donkey, in other words, one that's never even been sort of trained or anything, is even more stubborn. And they're pretty fearless. They're fearless creatures that will fight with everyone, even people they don't need to fight with, even creatures they don't need to fight with. A wild donkey is basically an ordinary pain in the ass, almost unteachable animal. That's who the book is for. Wild donkeys like I was. And it doesn't pull any punches. It's not written, in nice dulcet tones. It's a kick in the face that's telling you what you need to know, the truth. Unvarnished. And, if it offends you, I don't really care, because I'm not after the lukewarm, those guys will find their own way or not. I don't really care. I'm after a bunch of crusaders that are ready to become crusaders, because that's what we need. We need people that will evangelize, not just, with nice words, but with their actions, with their deeds, with how they behave, with the fact that they will not bend to lies, that they will tell the truth, that they will not deny our Lord, and so on. So those are the kind of people I'm looking for, And those are the kind of people that actually get shit done. Because remember, again, in God's battalions, the Crusades was the result of a few families. Yes, there were wealthy families. Yes, there were barons. But there were a few families. And those few families roped in some of their friends and some of their, relations. And then it became sort of two groups of families, some from the Franks, some from the Normans, because they were intermarried with each other. So a few families took back the Holy Land and kept it for a couple of centuries. That's just what a few people with faith can do. So you don't know what the ripple effect is going to be. Take action. Do. And today, sort of weirdly, in the last video I was talking about the rosary, and today I was in a rush and I forgot to bring my rosary to the church. But one of the two guys that came along, I gave him my little laminated sort of how to pray the rosary type thing, because it's, even if you're not baptized yet, it doesn't matter. Just start praying the rosary anyways. It makes a difference. And one of the guys that's there, he was only recently baptized. He was only baptized in April. So this time last year, he wasn't baptized, and he came to the church, and he was kind of, quiet, didn't really know what was going on, that sort of thing. And now he's one of us, and he turns up regularly, and he's taking action again, because what he wants to do is produce a little document that people can use for following the Mass in Latin. So it's got the Latin, it's got the English. We've got the missals, but not everybody knows how to use a missal. Some of them don't have missals. Some of them are expensive. So that's what he's going to do. And, he's a young guy, he's in his 20s, and that's what he's doing. And he's taking action. And it's going to be a very useful little document. And I said to him, look, you shouldn't just do it just for us. Put it online so that people can have a use of it. And, he may or may not do it. If he doesn't know how to do it, I'll help him with it, whatever. But there you go, so it's already happening. And when I was discussing with the priest, the meeting on the 21st of December, he said, we should try and see how much interest there is. And if there's enough interest, we don't make it just once, we make it a regular thing. Maybe it happens once a few times a year, at least once a year, maybe a couple of times a year, depending on how many people are interested and, if people are willing to help, fund it, of course, because, the priest, and look, I've seen the priest, his lunch and that today, these guys are not about money. There's nothing to do with money. It's to do with being able to serve, okay? They go on missions like this all over the place because there aren't churches. But if we get enough people together, there's no reason why we can't buy a church eventually and consecrate it and make it proper. Remember, we're going to take it back. We're going to take everything back from the Novus Orchians. It will happen. Just a matter of time and effort. Just do the effort. Just do the work. These guys, they're like social justice warriors. They don't stand up to people who stand up to them. They run away. They hide. They can only live in the shadows. They can't live in sunlight. Spread the light. And remember, again, like I said in the book, sometimes spreading the light means setting fire to enemy encampments. Now, speaking metaphorically, don't go and set people's houses on fire or whatever, don't do any crazy shit. But you've got to fight the enemy, and that means take the fight to them. When you have like Novus Orcus priests, go and talk to them. Say, why do you teach this stuff? Why do you think the Vatican II is anything Catholic? It isn't. It's a lie. There's books out there. There's resources out there. My little book, Believe, is good for, heathens, pagans, the ones that are lost sheep, the wild asses. That's who it's for. So get it, give it to your friends, tell your friends about it. It's not expensive. It's like $9, I think, and less than that. It's like $10 in book format, I think, and $6 or something in like Kindle. I can't remember. I honestly don't remember. But it's like $10. And more people are getting affected by it. I get emails pretty regularly now. I'm really still only counting the ones that are actually going to get baptized and converted, but I'm getting a lot of emails that are saying, thank you, your book's helping me. I'm going to go to a Latin Mass. I'm going to investigate this. I'm now curious about Catholicism. I've been a Protestant all my life, but I'm going to try and pray the Rosary, that sort of stuff. It's really interesting and unexpected, and I'm really happy that it's helping people. It's having the effect that it's having. That's good. I've also seen to it that there's going to be like about 9 or 10 shirts of the Catholic, not Novus Orco. You can buy them yourself at Crypto Fashion, but we're going to have maybe 8 or 9 of them at the book signing. I don't know how many people will want one or whatever, or people that have donated quite a bit of money will just give them one. It's we're flying by seat of our pants, and that's not because we don't know what we're doing. It's because no plan survives contact with the enemy. So you got to roll with the punches. Just go with it. I hope that you all get a book, and I hope that you all get a t-shirt, and I hope that it all goes great. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe there's a flood. Maybe my plane crashes. You just never know. But don't despair. Keep going. And do the best you can, and that's what we're going to try and do. We're going to try and make as many people pleased with the event as possible. We're going to try and accommodate everybody. We'll do our best. And if we can, great. And if we can't, be patient and, help us anyways. That's kind of how it goes. I'm really glad to see that you guys are helping Nameless Bear. We're now like within, I think, $1,700 of meeting costs. So that's awesome. The shirts I've paid for out of my own pocket, so they, whether we sell them or give them to people who have donated money, it's going to be whatever it's going to be, right? Don't look for perfection, and don't look for perfect justice and perfect equality for all, because it doesn't exist on this earth. So we will do our best. We are Catholics, so there's no intention to deceive. There's no intention to lie. There's no intention to defraud. None of that. But things can go wrong, right? Maybe a guy gets a free t-shirt because we think he donated money and he didn't really. Or maybe a guy gets a free t-shirt because he did donate money, and another guy who did donate money doesn't get one because we've run out. it's not a perfect world. We're all broken, fallen, fail at everything kind of people. But so what? Keep going. And again, another one of the things I say in the book, if you're feeling guilty and bad because you're not perfect, you know what? I don't care. Bitch on your own time. Do the mea culpa. Get a nice little cat o' nine tails and whip yourself and call it a day. Don't let your guilt or your weakness or your inability or your failure stop you. Get up and keep going. Get up and keep going. That's all you need to be a good soldier. That's all you need to be a good fighter. Keep getting up. Keep going. Remember that bravery, courage, and persistence are more important than intelligence and wisdom. Now, don't get me wrong. It's really good to have intelligence and wisdom. But if all you got is courage and persistence, it's enough. You will be covered in scarred and it will take you long and it will be painful, but you'll get there. Now, if you're brave, smart, wise, and persistent, well, then it's on you to do more for others, to help those brothers alongside you that aren't, that maybe are missing a leg or that maybe are missing a part of the brain or whatever, Do. Look at what Nameless Bear has done. There's already 3, 4, 5 people that I know for a fact go to the same church that he goes because of him. So it doesn't matter how small or little you think you are. Do something. Catholics rising. And look at history. Catholicism is what spread the gospel. Catholicism is what civilized the world. So be part of that. Be one of us. That's pretty much all I wanted to say. I was very inspired by the 2 lads that came along and also by the sermon. It was great. And I love our priest. He's so hardcore. He's such a cool guy. Because he made it very clear that the true faith is the Catholic Church. You're not even allowed to say that in the Novus Ordo churches now. Not allowed to say that. Because we've got ecumenism, that all religions are okay. On that alone, you know that's Novus Ordo. It's not Catholic. It's not Catholicism. It's not Catholic. It's nonsense. Once you say that Islam is just as good or will get you to heaven just as much as Catholicism, it's nonsense. It's absolute satanic rubbish. So, lastly, if you're not sure if your priest is a proper one or not, just ask him about Vatican II. That's it. That's all you need to ask. What do you think about Vatican II? And you'll soon have your answer. So, well, there you go. Solo Deus Gloria. Remember that all glory to God, not to us, not to me, not to any of us. All glory is God's. You do your part, do your work, help others, get other people to come to church, get your family involved. It's a cool thing. It's a great thing. And there are things happening in our little community. The men already quickly got together and started talking, and it's gonna expand. And we'll keep our cards close to our chest for a while, but you'll see there's going to be more things happening over time. So don't despair and know that you're not alone. Even if you're alone right now, even if you don't have any Catholics near you, even if you're not properly baptized, but you want to be, but you don't know where to go, don't despair. It will all come to you in good time. Just keep going. Get up, remember? Be a good soldier. Get up. It's pretty much all you got to do. Get up and keep going. Okay, that's it for this Sunday. Have a good weekend, what's left of it, and have a good week coming.